This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 795 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from the Dressage Radio Show. Natalie Hamilton-Henneman joins Dressage Radio Show co-hosts Reese Kofler-Stanfield and Philip Parks for an in-depth look at shoulder Fore. And we'll get to our tip right after this shopping tip from Equestrian Collections.
Hi, Glenn here from the Horse Radio Network, and I am with Debbie from Equestrian Collections with Equestrian Collections Product of the Week.
Hi, Glenn. You know what? It's time again to be thinking about summer shows. And how are we going to deal with the heat? Well, you know what? Ariat has come out with a new show shirt called the Ariat Sun Stopper. It's a quarter zip. If you have ever worn an Ariat show shirt, you know that that has got to be the most comfortable shirt on the market for show shirts. It's not that cotton stuff. It's a material that is very soft. It looks fantastic, easy to keep up. This year they've come up with something new. It's the inside of the arms is a net material, so that it's very cool and lets the air through. Where the top of the arms is the denser material to keep the sun off your arm, so that you can ride and be cool. This is great for trail riding. This is great for shows. I can't think of a single place you would ride in the summer that this wouldn't be good for. That does come in long sleeves. It's a knit material. It's got the collar for the stock tie loop. It's got everything that you need, including sun protection for show riding and for just regular riding in the summer. It comes in white, and we have all of those sizes in stock and ready to ship. It also comes in pink and in navy. They call it fuchsia, but it's really a fuchsia pink and in navy. So this is sort of, and on the pink and the navy one, it's the inside where the mesh is a white color. So this is hearkening back to some of the old-timey Ariat-looking shirts that we all loved, and I think this is going to be a huge success. And I look forward to wearing mine as soon as it gets a little bit warmer.
That's the Ariat Sunstopper quarter zip top. You can find it by going to equestriancollections.com and just search for Sunstopper, and it's sure to come up.
Well, it is our pleasure this evening to introduce Natalie Hamilton-Henneman to the show. She is a wonderful trainer in Minnesota, and she is going to give us a trainer tip of the week of the amazing usage of shoulder Fore in our everyday training. Natalie, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. This was great.
Well,
lots of fun.
We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Let's get started. The amazing usage of shoulder Fore. I love this topic. This is a great one. So whenever you're ready.
I do too. You know, I teach a lot of amateurs, and I love to focus on this. It is such, to me, the basic thing to learn to make everything better. It's a tool, I think, that really helps the riders connect to the horse and really start to establish a good connection, you know, inside leg to outside rein and leg, and really start to get the horse to partner with the rider and develop a good, solid communication. And I think even thinking towards shoulder Fore, you know, when, you know, you're starting as a beginner rider, or, you know, you're starting a beginner horse, the thought of going there, I think, is always such a good thing to think about from the beginning. And I really like to build everything from that and really home in on it. And I call it home base. You know, get in the home base and start thinking about that positioning when you get in the saddle. And then once that communication is you know, established, then we start to build off of it and pushing the horse forward in it and pushing the horse sideways in it and developing a little more shoulder fore, developing shoulder in, developing the beginning of the bending and everything else. But I can't say enough about that positioning for my day-to-day riding. I think about that all the time.
So, Natalie, when you have a new student coming to you or a new horse, how are you introducing the idea of shoulder fore? So, if you can break it down for our listeners and explain exactly, what it is and how you start out and what to do, basically.
Yeah, well, when the rider gets on the horse, we usually, after, they get their mojo going and they're warmed up, then what I like to start with is doing with a new rider like a baby shoulder, a baby leg yield feeling. So what I'll have them do when they're first beginning it is that I'll have them walk down the rail just a couple of feet in, and then I'll say, okay, now start using your inside leg. When you feel that horse stepping underneath you, and direct it towards the horse's outside ear, and then have them bring the horse to the rail so they start to feel that inside hind stepping under the horse when they're influencing it. And then as they start to feel that rhythm and feel that movement, then I start changing the line. So we'll make it on a circle, a little leg yielding out feeling, and we'll take it through the corner, or then we'll build on the angle as the rider starts to understand and get the rhythm. And then, of course, then you add the trot, you add it in the canter. But basically, that I start, at the walk, I come a little bit in on the rail, and then say, okay, let's push them to the rail, and it all kind of starts from there.
No, I think that's great. And it's certainly something that we all need to use every day, all day long on every horse. But Natalie, tell us some other situations where you could use shoulder fore.
Well, I like to use it a lot in the trot, especially with the horse that's a little bit stiff, or a rider that's a little bit stiff to one side, that they really get themselves over their inside seat bone, and they can feel themselves, sitting more even because they're influencing that inside hind more directly underneath the horse, so that it's, to me, it's just the basic element of suppleness also, that when you can control that hind leg and bring it underneath the horse, you're going to have a horse that's more supple and bending through the inside, and a rider who has a pocket or a place to sit. So, through using it with the stiffness, by using that slight positioning to get that suppleness, and also the strengthening, that the horse starts to come underneath themselves and push more. It is such an amazing tool, because it does so many things. It's just one positioning, and it fixes strength and supple. That just does so much.
It comes to mind for me today. I was teaching a lesson with a horse that was spooking, and it's a great exercise also, to kind of help the rider, get the horse's attention, and put him in shoulder fore so that there is a little bit of lateral flexion. So I certainly
100%.
had some good success with that.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Once, if you're riding towards that every day, and you're riding towards that feeling, and it becomes home base. I like to say for my riders, home base, a place where it's comfortable. You get that, and it's consistent, and it's the same, and the horse feels it, and the horse relaxes to it. When you put that aid on, they know it. It's their comfort zone. And then when you come to a place like a new farm, you come to the showgrounds, you get to that home base where you're riding in that positioning, in that slight shoulder fore, or shoulder in if needed, if you need a little more connection. But the horse is so used to it that it relaxes to that feeling, and then the rider can relax because they feel like they're in a pocket. They have a place to sit. They have the bend controlled. They have that inside hind leg coming under and forward, so you can place the horse wherever you want it. I think that is a huge point.
No, I think that's good too. And I think you mentioned it a little bit, but can you elaborate a little more on the straightness, on how you can use shoulder fore to get straightness?
Totally, yeah. Another thing it is so amazing for, when you're riding in shoulder fore and you've got that hind leg directed underneath the horse's body, and you've got the feeling that you've got a connection in your outside aids, and the horse is standing up between your inside leg and your outside reining leg, and you can have you get those hind legs right underneath you. Then the shoulders can come up, and you've got a horse that's moving straight through its body, butt has flexion, and is in the best balance to be able to move uphill and underneath itself. And it's such a good thing to.
Yeah, I think you're right. It does everything for you. I mean, it teaches the horse submission. When you can put your inside leg on and push it to the outside rein, the horse accepts your inside leg, it accepts your outside rein. Then the horse learns to be comfortable and submissive. It just gives you all the great points of what a dressage horse should be. So like you said, if you start early, then you're fixing so many problems early. Now, I want to ask you a question about pitfalls, problems that might occur that you can think of, a few common ones that maybe you would have a few solutions for, or to tell our listeners, what's going wrong, why it's going wrong a little bit.
Well, the biggest thing that I see that happens is the horse falls through the outside aid. So that's the horse pops its outside shoulder. Mostly that's what tends to happen when you're riding it. When you try to ride it and it happens to not work out, the horse starts to overbend and lose and kind of fall through the outside shoulder and lean that way. So that definitely, if you have that going on, it's definitely not working, and then you're not creating what you want and making the horse, more together and underneath itself and uphill. So the energy is all falling out. So that to fix it, I'll have the riders, either straighten the neck more through the outside rein with the outside leg, but keeping the inside leg on so that you're still directing that inside hind under, or also counterflexing a little bit to ride a little rondeur, feeling to get that outside shoulder caught again.
No, I think that's I think that is a common fault that we see a lot with the shoulder fore, that the outside aids aren't kind of helping the rider control. And it's also something to work on for that. So I think that that's really a very, very good topic there. So Natalie, how do we find you on the internet if we were to look you up?
Well, you could go to my website. It's www.hinnemanfarms.com. And I also have a Facebook page. It's Natalie Hamilton Hinneman.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming on the radio show, and I hope everyone works on their shoulder fore this week.
And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed Reese and Phillip talking about everything dressage, you can tune in every week at dressageradio.com. You can also find lots more tips about topics ranging from barn care to websites for horse people at horsetipdaily.com. Just look for the topics drop-down menu on the left. And don't forget to support our sponsors here on Horse Tip Daily because they make these podcasts possible. Today's podcast has been brought to you through the generous support of EquestrianCollections.com. Just like Horse Tip Daily brings the whole world of equine knowledge to you, Equestrian Collections brings the whole world of equine online shopping to you. Check them out today at EquestrianCollections.com, and while you're there, tell them Coach Jen sent you. please stop by the Horse Tip Daily Facebook page and let us know what you think of the tips you hear on the show. It's also a great place to tell us about topics you'd like to hear us cover on the show. You can subscribe to all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network through iTunes or Zune and get your horse podcasts automatically downloaded to your iPod, Zune, or MP3 player. You can also listen to the shows right on Facebook. The player's right there every day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, go ride your horse! The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.